Welcome to Coin Story. I'm Pete. Coin Story focuses on the history of a single coin. Coins move through the ages from hand to hand and from decade to century. These coins represent the work and culture of the people that own them. Every coin has a story to tell if you're patient enough to listen. Take a little time out of your day and join me for a walk back in time. Every coin has a life, and each coin tells a story. Hello, coin connoisseurs, titans of trade, and anyone who has just clicked on this video by accident because they thought they were going to watch an ESPN boxing podcast. Welcome to another episode of Coin Story, the show that answers today's global trade problems with a small brass disc. I'm talking about a coin that's actually a German medal, a medal that is a symbol of 100 years of humiliation for a country that's sending us all our iPhones. Now, if you're picturing a group of German athletes punching air in a synchronized routine, yelling "Zum Boxen," you would be wrong. This wasn't a German CrossFit class. It was China, the year 1900, and the locals were miffed. You see, back in the day, a group of Chinese nationalists who were really into martial arts and not really into foreign powers decided they'd had enough of Western interference, missionaries, and people trying to sell them opium with a side of Bible. They were called the Righteous and Harmonious Fists, which sounds like a kung fu boy band. But the West called them the Boxers. You would think that a civilization that invented the first guns would focus on that when invading armies came knocking on Peking's door. But no, it was all about kung fu fighting, but the bullets were faster than lightning. Now, I managed to get my hands on a very real, totally not fake cassette of Queen Victoria to the Empress Dowager Sushi to explain how British and Chinese relations might have broken down. Dearest Cece, I hope this letter finds you well. I am formally informing you that in the spirit of international friendship and colonial shopping, we shall be requiring the following: all of your porcelain, silk, tea, and in return, we shall generously sell you opium. Yes, it's addictive, but it pairs delightfully with a spot of tea. Do not bother sending thanks. Simply leave the palace doors open and tea at the curb. My troops will handle the rest. Yours truly, Queen Vicky. And to make matters worse, 8 countries teamed up like the Avengers. Western powers +1, assemble. Great Britain, United States, Japan, Russia, Italy, France, Austria-Hungary, Belgium, and Germany were ready to storm the gates of Peking. Back to the medal. Now we're talking about the German Boxer Rebellion Campaign Medal, a shiny token handed out to soldiers who helped, let's say, restore order in China. It's like, hey Hans, thanks for helping us crush the rebellion on the other side of the planet, and thanks for helping the English sell opium to the populace. Here's a medal. The obverse has that classic Prussian design, an imperial eagle defeating the Chinese imperial dragon. On the reverse, the German translation says, "To the victorious fighters, 1900 to 1901. So when we talk about modern China-West relations, trade wars, TikTok bans, spy balloon drama, you've got to remember China has the receipts, literal coins and medals that remind them that the West once kicked down the door and said, "Nice empire, mind if we plunder?" You might think China wants to trust the West now, after Germany handed out "thanks for invading China" medals like candy. That's like your neighbor borrowing your lawnmower and torching your lawn. Between the Opium Wars and the Boxer Rebellion, China has gone through a lot. 100 years of humiliation, to be specific. I remember coming out of the restroom in middle school with a toilet seat cover stuck to my shoe. That was 5 minutes of humiliation. Imagine having a toilet seat cover stuck to your shoe for a century. That would be one long century. So we should not just look at this medal as a souvenir, but a historical memory from a time 8 countries told China, "We're just here to help." And then they helped themselves to the imperial porcelain collection. No wonder China remembers. History has many twists and turns, but perhaps the strangest turn is many of these soldiers that were fighting alongside each other 14 years later would be fighting each other in brutal trench warfare in Belgium. The war to end all wars would begin, but that's a story and a coin for another day. All right, that's all I have for today's coin story. Please like and subscribe if your fists are righteous and harmonious. And remember, every coin has a life and a story to tell if you're patient enough to listen.